Hey everybody, Jason Hodge here again. Wow, I guess I'm just really full today, huh? Um, actually, it's a very favorite topic of mine, so I think I'm going to be doing quite a few of these videos just for today because I think that today, of all days, it is probably one of the most important topics I think that we have touched on so far. I mean, we have touched on a lot of important topics, and not to take anything away from any of the topics that we've touched on, but today we're talking about transformation, impact, positive impact. What books have positively impacted our lives? And so I've been really featuring a lot of the books that have been um, instrumental in transforming aspects of my life and how they continue to transform aspects of my life. And those books, the majority of them reside right inside of the collection of books inside of the Bible. And I talked about Nehemiah, I talked about Job, and right now I want to talk about the book of Proverbs. Proverbs to me is one of those great books. If you are a business owner and you are looking for wisdom, a way to structure your life, your business, the way that you interact with people, the way that you orb your mind around things, concepts, the way that you approach success and what success actually means to you and why you do certain things, it kind of helps formulate the why. It not only sets up the skeleton or the infrastructure, but it puts the meat on the bones also if you understand how to read that book. There's a lot of life lessons in it, and really, there are no separations. I mean, just in life, when you really think about things, there are no separations between your business and your person. I mean, ultimately, you are your business and your business is you. So, when you find that there are things that aren't working in your business, you have to look at your own life and see what things are not working in your life and what shortcuts have you made that you need to kind of go back to square one to reset that foundation. And for me, Proverbs is one of those books that helps you to do that. It is a lot of different verses that deal with wisdom. It deals with contemplations. How do you think about things? How do you frame things? How do you filter things? And how do they govern the way that you respond or react to life? So I would say that Proverbs is definitely one of my favorites. It's actually always been one of my favorites, and it's kind of hard to really isolate or to pick which book is my ultimate favorite, if you will, mainly because each one of them serves a profound purpose. Each one of them has a different nuance that allows me, at least as I read it, it allows me to take things from various perspectives and to see God's principles, Yahweh's principles lived out or not lived out in people's lives, and then seeing the ramifications, whether they be good or bad, um, and then allowing me to reflect on that to say, okay, how am I applying or not applying these universal principles in my life? And the outcomes that I see in my life, are they favorable or not? And if they're not, am I breaking any principles, any universal laws, any spiritual laws? Am I abusing them? And what areas do I need to make an adjustment in order to correct, or properly to erect from the core to correct, or core erect those things, principles, structures in my life that other things are supposed to stand on. It's a foundational thing. So when I look at the different books of the Bible, when I look at the different passages inside of Proverbs, to me, that book really does speak of wisdom, protocol, structure, infrastructure. And it is an excellent way for me to structure the way that I do things in business. A lot of times, it's kind of funny because there are so many areas in life, and I doubt that I'm the only one, but where I used to think that I had to be a certain way in order for things to work a certain way. And what happened when I went through my own internal transition, my own life transition, is I realized there's a lot of things that I just simply am not willing to do anymore. There's mindsets that I'm not willing to have anymore. There's conversations I'm not willing to have anymore. And there are ways in which I operate in life that I'm not willing to do anymore. And it's not that the things that I did before were necessarily bad or good. It's just that they did not reek, and I'll say it in that term, they did not reek of authenticity because they were so tied into what I thought everybody else thought that I should be doing or should be or whatever. And so as I came to the end of my own self and started really chiseling away at the garbage, that, had been hooked onto me over the years, societal expectations, things like that, without having for myself examined and mapped everything out to see, okay, what actually is and what should be based on who I am, based on where I'm going, the objectives that I have. I had an opportunity to go and delve into my life and say, okay, now let me break everything down, ground zero, we're at square one. And let me look at the things that should be there and the things that aren't there that have a deep root in there. What do I need to do in order to pull that root out so that I can start living the life the way that it's supposed to be lived for me? So, Proverbs for me is one of those great staple books that allows me to go in and examine my life based on universal principles that are laid out right there. I hope that that is a good explanation for you and how it is that I use scripture in order to apply it to my everyday life. For me, it's not something that is just so spiritual and out there that it doesn't have a grounding and a foundation in everyday life. I don't believe that the Bible is supposed to be read with, such a mindset that is like, oh, okay, it's just unapproachable, it's so untouchable, and and angels are singing in the background as you're reading it. No, I believe that it is one of those guides, that has principles that you can apply or not apply, and you will get the results based on your application, whether you apply them in the way that they are intended to be applied, or you don't. So that's my 2 cents on that. And yeah, I would say that Proverbs, I love that book. There's not enough good that I could say about that book. It's got a lot of interesting things in there, and I've seen a lot of flubs, and I've seen a lot of great victories inside of that book. And I think that ultimately, all in all, it shows that the lives that are inside of the Bible were not perfect lives. They were lives just like you and my life. And inside of the Bible, there and the books in the Bible, there are folks who have made choices, and how those choices turned out, the outcome of those choices, was the end result of if they were good or bad choices. So in life, we have the same ability, the same liberty to make a choice that works for us or against us. And that's going to be determined by what is your end goal objective. And if you're doing things that are not going to get you to your end goal objective, then it's a bad thing. It's not working for you. So that's all I have to say on that. This is Jason Hodge, keeping it real. Hey, if you are looking for a community to get involved with, and one that will stretch you to your limits and then beyond it, to help you to get outside of your comfort zone, to help you to be very real with yourself and your community, and to create authentic connections and relationships with people of like mind, I would suggest that you go ahead and click on the link below and really, take yourself to that ground zero, take yourself to that ground zero and allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to explore your own self and to come to terms with yourself and to set realistic goals and objectives for yourself, not based on somebody else's definition of what your life should be, but based on what it is that, or rather, the discovery of your purpose. You know, first seek your purpose and then figure out if the things that you're doing are going in line with that purpose or against it, and then make your corrections, make your adjustments. That's what I do. All right, this is Jason Hodge, keeping it real. Click that link and subscribe to my channel. If you like what you're hearing, why not subscribe and share it with other people? All right, catch you later.